We have to care about the agents.
Intention, consistency, authenticity.
All right, so I mean, we're live. We're Sliders. We're in Neptune Beach, given the sign behind us. I'm sitting here with two absolutely wonderful ladies. I'm here with
Thank
Emily
you.
Holland, but you are now Emily Tappan.
Not legally, but yes,
But
officially.
colloquially,
Yes.
colloquially.
Legally.
And then we're here with Dana Usry. Dana, you've been with us for a while now.
A little over 2 years.
2 years, yeah. I remember old Jack's office.
Yeah.
And
Not
then
too far from here.
You've done a 1 year already? You're past 1 year?
I just hit my 1 year in August.
Nice. I should definitely know that. But excellent. Either way, we love you, ladies. But anyway, so we're here at Sliders. Sliders is a friend of our social media girl, Jackie. That's why we're here. We always try and highlight a local establishment. So we did St. Augustine. Now we're up here. But let's kind of get into who you guys are and let's introduce you guys. So why don't we just go this way? So just tell everybody who you are, where you're from, how we got into real estate. Yeah.
Okay, so I am originally from Massachusetts, and
All right.
I actually got my license up there first, but it's a really small market, I guess. It's
Right.
there's a ton of agents in the area that I'm from, Acton, Concord. Tons of agents, not a lot of properties being sold.
Really?
So it's super competitive.
Where in Massachusetts?
It's 20 minutes outside of Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not unfamiliar. For a summer, I lived in North Adams, Massachusetts, which is
Okay.
the top corner
Yeah.
between everything. And yes, there's not a lot going on.
Not a lot. So I never did anything with it,
Right.
and ended up moving to Florida for a totally unrelated reason. My now husband was here, and he was like, move down here with me. And I'm like, okay, what the heck? Why
Yeah,
not?
you don't have to tell me twice, right?
Yeah, I know. Warm weather all the time. Yeah, I'm not complaining.
So moved to Florida, unlicensed, but came from a real estate background. Did you immediately, hey, I'm moving here, I'm going right into real estate? How did it kind of shake out with being
While I
licensed?
was preparing to move here, I got my license because I knew I was going to be in real estate. His family's in real estate, and it just felt like it would be a good fit. So
Wow. Preparation on your end. That makes
I
sense
was
why you're a
ready.
transaction
Yeah.
coordinator. That makes sense. So moved down here immediately right into real estate license. Did you become an agent, or you already knew you were going to be a walk us through that.
I wanted something steady. My husband is finishing his degree, so I'm
Right.
the breadwinner right now.
Right, so you didn't want this.
I didn't want
yeah.
that, no.
Perfect.
So I started out at a different brokerage working in their back office doing kind of post-closing stuff, which I didn't love. It was a little tedious. I didn't get to talk to anybody. I just kind of was processing things.
Right.
And, yeah, scanning checks.
And then you're like, I need to go to the cool kids team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Rock and roll.
I saw the job listing, and I saw that it was a partner to the Jags, and I was like, that's so cool. And that was why I wanted to apply.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Jags partnership. There we go. All right, so we
Yeah.
got a win on Sunday, and we got a win because you saw us and came over. Let's get into Dana, but let's crack drinks. I think we have
Yes.
drinks they brought out. I don't know if you want to bring those over or if you guys want an Onda. Onda is really great, so you can bring those
my
right in.
goodness.
Thank you, Jackie. Quick little plug on Onda. Onda is an all women-owned operation. It's
Which we
awesome.
love.
Tequila seltzer. It's delicious. Owner, operator, or just investor maybe, Shay Mitchell. She was in, what did we say, You, and something else, I don't know, but she's great. She's awesome. This looks like it's something with jalapeno.
I believe
And looks-
that's their cucumber martini. Some
Okay.
kind of cucumber martini.
Some sort of other something in there.
What is this?
That looks like a tequila, sunrise, sunset, something.
Something like that.
Wow, these are incredible. All right, so
This
cheers,
definitely-
Sliders. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Yes.
We'll
Oh my gosh.
talk about what these are when we get a rep from Sliders on here, so we can be more accurate. But right in, let's go for a taste test. So cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.
That is delicious.
So good.
Cucumber martini. Cucumber in anything is just refreshing.
Yeah.
What do we have here? Rum punch. Okay.
Some
Pina colada, standard.
Very good.
Absolutely delicious. We're going to get more into these when we talk to Sliders in a bit. But Dana, so you've been us, again, just over 2 years. You were in real estate as an agent, or how, like, walk us through kind of like that.
Yeah, so I was actually a unlicensed assistant.
Okay.
For a top producing Jacksonville agent with a different brokerage.
Ugh.
And I...
Not the drink, the brokerage. Sorry.
I worked with her for about 2 years. And from there, I had my son. So I took a break and decided that I would just kind of go into business for myself. I already knew how to handle the back end of everything. So I figured it would be the easiest transition. So I did that, and I got licensed. I worked general real estate for a couple of years, again with a different brokerage, and had really not much success. I mean, you know, a couple in my first maybe 2 years.
Was it all salaried when you?
No.
It was always like per file or something like.
No, and actually it was really just an hourly position for her. I was still unlicensed, so she couldn't really give me any sort of commission or anything like that. So I just kind of followed her around and did her sort of daily mundane tasks.
When did you see us? Because you've been, again, 2 years. You were in the old Jack's office. I remember that's when we really started to, like, scale. And you were, like, started off one room, and then you were in, like, the OG TC room.
Yes.
I remember that.
The closet.
Yeah, the cloffice.
Yeah.
Cloffice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big room, but there were, like, 5 of us that were admin and had to sit in there. But ultimately, I was actually at the brokerage the one day, kind of scanning for jobs because I needed more stability for my son and my family. And, you know, my fiance at the time was kind of transitioning out of what he was doing. So we really just needed the stability. I saw the ad come up on Indeed, and I applied, and immediately they requested an interview on Indeed. And so I scheduled it for the next morning. Yeah. And I met with DJ&Lindsey, and Travis was supposed to second interview me, and ultimately DJ just called me and said, hey, Travis is good with it, we're good with it, let's roll, get you started. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, because then you've been along the ride of this like craziness, the scale growth. You've worn a couple different hats.
A lot.
You know, we had the ZO was a huge thing. You were a big component in that. That I think a lot of people, like, they know. It's kind of like Travis and even myself. They're like, Dana works here. She could be doing anything at this point in time. Like, at this point, we just know. And I think that's one thing that DJ&Lindsey always have never steered away from, is like, when you have good talent and good people, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that they have a place here.
Yeah.
Because we want the best for you, obviously, and then obviously the services and whatever it is that you guys provide to us.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of like quickly outline what it looks like when a file would show up. So like, our agents will execute a contract. How does it immediately show up on your end? So I'm Todd Giuliano, real estate agent. I'm like, offer on this home. I write the contract. Obviously, it goes through our leadership. They make sure it's strong enough, and they submit the offer. Cool, it's executed. Kind of what happens.
So the agents have this like new contract form that they fill out, and all of that information they put in comes to us, and that's our little alert, and we take it from there.
So, but now you have a set, it's not just like a pool of like, I'm wide open. You constantly are working directly with specific agents.
Oh yeah, I have a team.
Yeah, so you manage basically your own team of agents, and that is so that there's never a, I was with Emily, now I'm with Rochelle, or now I'm with Dana, you know, so it's always like you're building this rapport that I think a lot, we're unique in the sense, I know people use TCs, but we're unique in the sense that like you and your agent are a team on literally everything. So like,
and it's a trust thing too. I mean,
trust for sure.
Yeah.
But even with the rapport that they've built with the customer client, now they're like, hey, this is Emily. Emily is going to take care of everything. Like, yes, you can reach out to me, but you are going to correspond with Emily when it comes to inspections, repair, etc. Do you miss the face-to-face side of that, or you still love, like, you get a little touch of the talking with people and getting to know them, but because it's such a whirlwind in that room, it's kind of nice to just be like, I need the shut doors and I need to?
I think it's nice to be able to limit it. So if I want to, especially with my Jacksonville agents and their customers, if I want to, say hi to them at closing or like get to meet them, otherwise like I can just limit my communication through the phone, and I definitely don't mind my little
your little humble
my
abode.
little
Yeah, your
bubble,
little bubble. Yeah, I mean, you guys work. So what's traditional, like the amount of files like a TC will kind of carry? Like what's like a?
So we ask that our TCs can handle standard up to about 35. Most of our TCs can handle that, and then of course Emily can be anywhere up to 45, almost 50 contracts at a time.
Right. And now your job differs in the sense of like more compliance now.
Yeah.
How does that kind of work in this whole gigantic machine of executed contracts to these people have a new home?
Yeah, so I basically check the files to make sure that we have everything sort of throughout the process, make sure that the inspection report is being recorded in the dot loop, and that we have the title work and all the lender documents and stuff that are needed.
Right.
We have to keep those documents for so long on behalf of the customer and behalf of title. So we just kind of make sure that we have everything in the same place and in somewhere that anybody can access it, and we have it.
Yeah, we're big on quality assurance. I mean, from any facet of this company.
Yeah, it's also a lot about that kind of liability
for sure.
Issue, and just making sure that we try to get ahead of any issues that might arise instead of waiting for somebody to complain about it.
For sure. I mean, do you like not the customer facing? You get to talk to these customers, but for the most part, you love the transaction side. How does like your love of real estate and being a TC, like where does this like, you love showing up to work every day, you get just a touch of real estate?
Well, that's part of it. I also feel like I've learned, like as a TC, I've learned so much about the business.
Right.
That's like part of it. I always want to be learning, and I don't necessarily want to not be prepared if I'm talking to someone, which is really good for me to be in the transaction part, because I'm able to be ready, full of knowledge when I'm talking to them, rather than
I mean, for the most part, you guys are handling a lot of problems at any given time.
Yeah.
We call them fires.
Yeah, extinguishing,
Right, exactly, extinguishing fires. I mean, because you got to think, buying real estate is a pretty hefty task, right? Like, first-time home buyers have no clue. They're showing up with parents to inspections who are also unlicensed people who have seen a thing or two, and then there's like all this thing. You guys are literally, I want to say like the therapist at this point.
Yeah,
that's about right.
Therapist, but also, it's a lot of money that's being handled.
Yeah.
So you have to very carefully tread, because it's not your money on the line at the end of the day. So,
for sure. Right. You're taking care of somebody else's prized possession.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't want somebody to get a bunk home, right? But like, you know, when things come, a WDO inspection, all these things that you guys, you're the first to receive this information.
Right.
And then again, that's why it's such a tight process of like executed to TC. TC's involved in literally all the rest of the transaction, making sure it happens, not only because you've seen all the things, right? You've seen so much from deal to deal, but you're dedicated to making sure that it gets done, right? You're not, then you're like, I don't have time to deal with this. I'm out showing a $3 million property. You're like, I am here to fix this for you.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't realize when they're like, we're going to use our cousin, you know, Lyle. It's like they don't realize, like, okay, well, what happens if, like, you guys execute this contract and Lyle has this vacation that he's been scheduled to go on for 12 years. He's not missing it.
No.
And now something happens, you can't get a hold of Lyle. Like, I think that's what a lot of people don't understand with this transaction coordinator dynamic is, yes, it's great for the agent because the agent writes and then knows somebody's taking care of it, but it's great for the customer because the customer knows, hey, there's always somebody on this transaction.
They have even more support.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And somebody who you know is going to answer the phone when you call or respond to your texts late at night. You know, and we, that's another reason why we work so diligently between the TC and the agent, because sometimes there are things that the agent has never dealt with before, and there's so much knowledge in the TC room.
Right. It's a micro. You literally have a micro mentor on top of your mentors on every deal.
Exactly.
I think that's like insanely important, especially when you have people, what we just went through for the past 2 years of they lost their job for COVID, they're pivoting to a new career, they know real estate is this gold rush right now, everyone's trying to get their hands on their own bag, but at the same time, when you try and rush towards something like that, you forget a ton of other stuff, not realizing. I mean, we have agents who are so good at what they do, and then when you ask them a question like, oh, that's something my TC handles, like, no matter what, like, or they'll just be like, I'll just go ask Emily, or I'll just go ask Dana, right? I mean, we get reviews, so obviously we see all the reviews on our end through Google My Business, and it's really funny because for the most part, we'll always get reviews for agents, and the TC is right along with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of consumers don't know, but when they say, we've spoken to them during closings or whatever, and they've always been like, yeah, when we looked at the reviews, we always kept seeing two names, and we're like, DJ&Lindsey, you know, Emily and Scott and Lauren, there's a lot of people who sell this home, and it's like, well, there's a lot of just moving parts, and everybody is really just good at what they do, and that's why we have all those people versus like, hey, you wear 15 different hats, you do everything okay, right? Like, you do what you do so well. You do what you do so well. Scott and Lauren do what they do so well.
And it starts, I mean, she's able to make sure that you have the strongest offer going in, which is huge, and then we're making sure that they get to the end. Right.
I mean, that's the biggest part, too. I mean, a lot of people, and we see that, I mean, you see memes all the time on the internet where it's like, you know, a lowball, hey, we're going to throw in a $50,000 lowball offer on this thing because it's been on the market for 30 days. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, our agents aren't doing that, which, first of all, is just a complete waste of time. But when they do, I don't even want to say lowball, but when they do submit an offer that might be a little hairy, it's literally going through Brett, Brittany, Travis, Dana, maybe even their TC if they've run it by them or just discussed it with them.
Yeah.
And then it's going over to the listing agent. So the probability of it getting accepted is insane. And we were just at the Jag Stadium, and I had a buddy who I grew up with who now works for the Jaguars, asked the question, he's like, how is it that you guys do so much volume? And I'm like, it stems from our agents, but it stems from our staff, right? That exact thing, right? It's literally like an agent can say, hey, boom, my client wants to buy this home. Awesome. It's going to run through the gauntlet of here's going to be the strongest offer we're going to get, submit it. It gets executed. Not like we're submitting 9 trillion offers and only like a percentage, and that percentage is 3,000. It's like, for the most part, when a DJ&Lindsey agent is submitting an offer, the likelihood of it getting accepted is almost like an 88 to 90% based on the sheer fact of like, probably wouldn't even get to the submitted offer if 5 other people didn't think it was strong. They're like, well, let's just wing it. Like, it's never a just wing it and figure it out.
No.
Yeah. No.
Does that give you less anxiety, more anxiety? Because you're like, oh, I want it to work so bad flawlessly.
I mean, being in compliance, I am 100% about the details, and everything sort of scares me.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you have so many people that are looking at the same thing, those small little errors aren't going to happen, or at least if they do happen, they're going to get caught.
Caught, corrected, fixed immediately before it even happens. Yeah, I think that's crucial. So let's quickly, before we wrap up, let's talk about kind of goals. Obviously, you showed up on a Wednesday and somebody dropped in the group like, oh yeah, Emily got married. We're like, okay, so... You know, incredible, but like, you know, kind of some goals, like you go on vacations, buying a new car, new house, new things, like let's kind of walk through and...
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not good at making goals. I'm not proud of it. It's a little of my ADHD that kicks in where
That's fine.
I'm pretty much what you said. I decided I was going to get married one day, and then I went and got married, and the next day I was like, surprise guys, I got married. Like,
well, and not to a stranger. Someone that you've been with for a while, so not just like I'm going to get married, tax purposes, and then,
She planned it. She just didn't tell anyone.
No, I mean, I didn't even tell anyone in the TC room. No. I just came in one day and I was like, guys, I got married yesterday. So as far as goals, I think it's just happiness for me, which I
and that could be it.
Just by starting at DJ&Lindsey. It was like a complete 180 for me. So it's just continuing that and being productive for them, and that's it for me.
That's awesome. What about?
So a new vehicle was originally on my list.
Okay.
And I bought my Caddy. So
Yes, Cadillac, love it. Beautiful
I did that,
car.
yeah. I didn't need a new vehicle. It got kind of forced on me, but I upgraded, and I'm happy I did.
That's spectacular.
And of course, getting married is
on the docket.
Somewhere, in the next year, hopefully.
Love that.
We'll see.
Right. Once maybe the market kind of cools off a little, at least our office, which I don't know if our office will ever cool off.
Right.
Yeah. That's just the way we are. Like, people just...
Well, and I had actually planned to get married when COVID first happened. So I had to, like, cancel my bridal photos and all that fun stuff. So
I'm sure you can have solace in the fact that I'm sure you're the only person that had to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So no big purchases, anything in the future? No big purchases. We've got our Caddy. We're good. We're coasting. We're just loving life right now.
Well, my journey's a little different. I mean,
right.
So
okay.
The house, I don't know if anyone has shared this. It kind of has just been like dropped to random people, but my husband and I are being given a house. Gifted, I should say.
Okay.
So purchasing is not on the horizon right now.
Hey, you're going to be a homeowner. That's important.
Right? So...
Yeah. That's spectacular. That's awesome. How do I sign up for that? Is that kind of just like a raffle situation?
Be a vet,
okay.
And you have to be with Canines.
It's through Canines for Warriors.
Excellent.
We have done a lot of volunteer work for them this year.
I do know that,
yes. Puppy raising and just going to a lot of events and trying to support them and what they do. So
yes, shout out.
Yeah.
It's Canines for Warriors?
Canines for Warriors.
Yes, shout out there. I think they have a hub in Nocatee, or Ponte Vedra. Yes, I always pass it when I'm cycling through there. I live right, obviously, just in St. John's. Huge facility there.
Huge. They just built the largest kennel in the world, I think.
Wow, it's gorgeous. Well, excellent. Ladies, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We're going to do more TC stuff, but if you guys always want to know the best and stuff, you can always follow us, subscribe everywhere. DJ and Lindsey, meet wonderful ladies like these. As you all know, because you've seen before, this podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible's a great way for you to listen to books instead of read them because you're on your way to showings. You can get our referral code at tryaudible.com/DJ and Lindsey. Emily, Dana, you guys are awesome. I love seeing you guys in the office. You guys are always coming here, helping us out. And we're going to get to sliders in just a minute, but let's cheers and rock and roll.
Cheers.
Like, subscribe, DJ and Lindsey everywhere.
Cheers.
Thank you.